Hi, my name is John Kim, and I'm a therapist who went through his own rebirth. I share my feelings and revelations. I believe in casual over clinical and with you instead of at you. I come unrehearsed on purpose because self help doesn't have to be so complicated. Before I talk about what I believe is life's or one of life's greatest tools, and this is from personal experience, I want to ask you a question. Are you or are you not receiving my texts? Because I've been texting you. Well, maybe not. If you haven't texted all caps angry, ANGRY, to the number 55222, then I haven't been texting you. But if you have, then I have. And these texts come in the form of daily reminders. And now I'm going to run exercises and weekly themes. So, narcissism, relationships, eating disorders, breakups, all of this stuff. I'm going to start running themes, weekly themes. And in that week, I'll be creating a dialogue. And also, you can text back, and me or someone from my team, and by team, I mean one other person who has been buried in responding to messages, will respond to you. So check that out. It's something I'm super passionate about, and people seem to be liking it. So that's that. Let's get back to this idea of seeking nectar. I have this hummingbird tattooed on my left bicep as a reminder when I was going through my own journey about, I don't know, 7 years ago. I made sure to tattoo it on my arm so I will never forget to seek nectar. Now, I believe this is one of life's greatest tools because the old John used to tie happiness to big things. So if I didn't have, and whatever big means to you, but like, you know, the big job, the big house, the big, deal, whatever, the big life things that we are all striving for. And then if I didn't get those things, then I didn't allow myself to be happy. And I never practiced this idea of finding joy in the things that I already had in my life, moments. And I do think it's a practice. I do think that we have to train our brains to seek nectar because it doesn't come naturally, because of capitalism, because of the world, and especially now with the internet where there's a lot of shiny things thrown into our feed, and we want them, right? And so we also believe, because of false advertising and filters and all of that, that other people are getting their shiny things. And so we feel that we are lacking. And so because of that, we are always in this chasing state, wanting these things. And it's okay. I think there's nothing wrong with wanting things. I still want things. It can also be healthy if it's something that's going to drive you and get you up at 5 a.m. and give you fuel, right? I think that's all great, but we can't forget that joy also comes in little things, the micro. So I'll give you some examples. And as I'm thinking about these, as I'm actually expressing these to you, think about the nectar that you have in your life. And if you don't, how you can start to produce it. As I take a sip of coffee, one of the things that I seek daily is, and that produces nectar in my life, is the first sip of that hot coffee in the morning. And it doesn't matter if I made it or if I bought it, it's that first hot cup of coffee. Nectar to me is the 5 seconds after a hard workout where dopamine is shooting into your brain and you have just created a sweat angel on the floor and you realize that you pushed your body harder than you thought you could, right? That moment is pure nectar. On my motorcycle, watching the sunset on the freeway where there's no traffic and the freeway turns into an ocean, pure nectar for me. And the Harley that I ride actually has a radio because it's a road glide, so also blasting one of my favorite songs while that's happening. The moment when he or she kisses you back, and I'm not talking about your girlfriend or wife or husband because that hopefully they are kissing you back, but when you meet someone and you're flirting and you like this person and you um, actually muster up the courage to kiss them and then they kiss you back, like that moment, right? Pure nectar. Tasting new foods, trying something different, maybe a new restaurant, that experience, nectar. What about finding things in people, characteristics, or experiencing moments that are new where you learn something about that person? That's nectar. Even if it's someone that you know very well, a friend, a family member, and you get to see a side of them that you haven't seen before. I think that's beautiful. Toes in the sand. I live in LA where the beach is close, so um, toes in the sand and wind on my back. There's something about breezes. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an Aries and I'm a fire sign, and so like the wind really calms me, makes me feel good, and I think that's also why I love riding motorcycles. But a nice breeze, like in the afternoon, man, that it gives me goosebumps, and there's joy in that. High thread count, guys. Fuck the plastic sheets. I'm gonna turn that into a T-shirt. Fuck the plastic sheets. High thread count is nectar. Oh, also a good night's sleep. I don't know about you, but I have trouble sleeping. So if I could just take a really good nap, or if I wake up after a good 6 or 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep, which is actually rare for me, but if that happens, it's I mean, so there's so much joy. Like to me, it's like, okay, well, I've already won. Like I'm good for that day. Everything could go downhill, but if I get a good night's sleep, I've already won. I was recently in Big Bear and I sat in a hot tub while it started to snow. And in that moment, I got extremely present and mindful, and I just sat there. I should have a photo of it. It's on my Instagram, and I'm just my mouth is wide open as I'm trying to catch snow, and I'm trying to soak in the moment, and that was pure nectar for me. Anything that involves, for me at least, anything that involves adrenaline, anything that involves a little bit of fear, anything that involves a little bit of danger. Um, What about a great film? I haven't seen a good movie in a long time, but a movie that moves you, a movie that becomes makes your top, 10, that kind of movie, pure nectar. The birth of an idea. So I am an idea guy, not a big execution guy, but I've got way more ideas than I could ever execute. And execution is hard, right? Of course. But the birth of an idea, that moment when you're like, what about this? Uh, that is pure nectar. What about creating a space to be creative? And it doesn't matter if you're writing or painting, that you time that you give yourself where you can hit some flow states, where you could lock yourself into a room and lose track of time, or maybe for me, it's a coffee shop. That is nectar. A meaningful conversation. I value those in my life, and conversations where both people get something from that exchange and they are moved and they leave lighter or feeling supported, you know. Um, it's also rare to have friends that can give you that, right? So it works on multi layers, but that is pure nectar. Cooking a meal. If you go out a lot like me, actually buying ingredients and cooking a meal at home can produce joy. What about music? What about listening to a good book? What about taking a bath with sea salt and candles? What about rubbing? This is my new thing. Like, get your mind out of the gutter. The CBD oil. which has a nice fragrance to it that's actually kind of potent. But CBD oil rubbed into your skin after you've been sore from a workout or a long day, I think is nectar. Anyway, my point is this. If you can produce joy with what you have in your life today, which is an ability and a practice, probably one most people have not practiced this because we're too busy chasing the big things. We forget that the coins are sprinkled throughout the rainbow, right? And this is an ability. If you can exercise this muscle, and you have to do it daily, then when you do get what you want, instead of just wanting more, because we're wired that way, you could actually enjoy it. I think that we are so obsessed with chasing all the big things that we want, without realizing that when we get there, we're only going to want more. And so our life becomes chasing mirages. And so we have to we have to possess this ability to produce joy with what we have in front of us. And they don't have to be things. They can be moments. Experiences over things. Thank you for listening. If you found this dialogue helpful, hope you share it with a friend. Be well. Hey, before you go, if you like my ramblings and revelations and shares, I am now texting people directly to their phone. Just go to my website, theangrytherapist.com. If you want to subscribe, I'll be doing weekly text, 5 days a week, reminders, and also mindsets and exercises and challenges. And every week there will be a different theme, a different topic. So I hope to see you in your phone. And also, if you enjoy this conversation, I hope you help me spread the dialogue and help other people by sharing it. You never know what people need to hear. So if it's helped you, I hope you can help me help others. Thank you. Hey, if you have a passion to help others and want to become a life coach, or you just want to acquire tools to change your own life, learn more about our Catalyst Life Coaching Intensive. We are an evidence-based training program with an amazing, authentic, vibrant community, and we give lifetime support. Just go to my website, theangrytherapist.com, and click on Life Coach Training.